It's been about 3 weeks since I last did an episode of my podcast, and I do that intentionally. I don't like, I like to let my creations breathe. So once I create something, whether it be a podcast, a visual, a poem, I put it out. Sometimes I'll go through moments of putting out a lot of content back to back to back or at once. But then I always leave time for whatever I put out to just breathe, to see who's reacting to it, when they're reacting to it, how many times they go back to the same content. And a lot of times you just have to let people stumble on your content because everybody's busy doing their own businesses, living their own life, taking care of their own responsibilities. So whenever you post something online, there is no matter what the stats or analytics say, there's no perfect time to post or when most people are active because it's all hit or miss. It's all random. It's all like a luck of the draw. Yeah, you may have better odds posting at a certain time or a certain day. The odds may be better. But at the end of the day, well, personally, I feel that it's all on God's timing. So when it's the right time, the right person will hear your message when they're supposed to hear it. So I like to navigate within that space, within that frequency. I post when I have the feeling, like that energy of, all right, I feel like talking right now, or damn, this has been heavy on my mind. Let me record a podcast or let me record some content and just put it out. Even a couple of weeks ago, I was in like a writing mode. I get these waves of energy where I just want to create or when I want to write, and it's just authentic emotions. Whenever that comes to me, I stop what I'm doing and I immediately just create whatever I'm led to create. I I believe like when we're creating and when we're creating from the heart and when we're speaking like that inner self talk, I strongly believe that that's our connection to our higher self and our higher power. To some, that may be God, it can be the universe, or just your higher self. I believe those inner conversations, like those conversations you have in your head, and when you're creating art, when you're painting a picture, when you're writing a book or you're writing poetry, when you channel that energy, it's like your connection and your communication with your higher self and higher power. So I don't like to force creations. So it's been 3 weeks since I last recorded. And in those 3 weeks, I put out two like miniature, like two small anthologies, poetry on love. Love has been it's a big topic right now. It's always a big topic, but especially today, it's Valentine's Day. And for me, I've just been focusing on loving myself and understanding what actual love is. I've been in relationships and I thought I knew what love was, like the action of it, but it's deeper than just the action. It's a very deep connection that you have with somebody because you can love a person based off of what they're doing, what they have, how they treat others. That's one way of loving. Then you have that unconditional love from like a parent. So a mom's unconditional love for their son or a dad's unconditional love for their son or daughter. I'm trying to fully understand just the meaning of love. A lot of times people will mistake or get comfortable with having somebody around them and then that grows into love or grows into what you think is love. But to me, love is as an emotion. It's a temporary emotion. Unconditional love, since I'm born, like I consider unconditional love where you will always have that emotion and that feeling for someone. I don't know. It's hard. I've been focusing on creating new routines for myself because the same routines that I used to have when I was younger and in college, I can just wake up whenever, exercise without stretching, and I just have more time, more carefree spirit. As you get older and you have more responsibilities and you deal with life and what comes with life, the ups and the downs, you have to change your routines. I used to be a person that would work out all the time, lift heavy weights. When I broke my ankle and just getting older, I wasn't as active as I used to be. I was losing weight. I wasn't getting as much muscle, or I wasn't as strong because I wasn't lifting weights. I just went through a haze, like a cloudy phase in life. And lately, I've been working on that. I've been trying to, like I said, just build routines alone. I'm still adjusting to I'm still adjusting to living alone. Because growing up, you live with your family or you live with your parents. I lived with my mom and dad. Then when I went to college, I had a roommate my freshman year. Then my sophomore year until senior year, I had roommates. Then after that, I moved in with my girlfriend at the time. Then after that, when I moved back to Miami, I was still living with my mom. Then when I moved out of my place with my mom, I was still living in I still have roommates where I was living in Wynwood. So this is the first time that I'm completely isolated, completely by myself. And it's the best feeling. Like isolation, like I said before, isolation is good and bad, meaning too much isolation can be bad. You have to be out with humans are supposed to interact with other humans in nature. You're supposed to be out. But isolation with a purpose is very important. When I isolate, it's mainly to to rest and then recharge my energy. When you're around a lot of people and when you're involved with a lot of different businesses, a lot of different personalities, a big family, your energy can be drained because it's being pulled in so many different directions and it's being led by other people's reactions to their emotions. Meaning, a lot of what people reflect and portray on you is based off of what they're going through in their internal life. So if you aren't mentally prepared or if you don't have your proper rest and isolation, you can get overwhelmed just by being around a whole bunch of people who don't have that's not so much their life together, but they don't have control over their emotions. So sometimes you can be that person and that ear to a lot of people that vent to you. But if you don't take time to just be by yourself in your own space, all of other people's energy will drain you and it will turn you into someone who you truly aren't because you're just reacting to their reactions without noticing that their energy and their reactions are shifting your focus. Being in Miami and Orlando, so going back and forth, this allows me to clear my spirit. I manage a lot. I have a lot on my shoulders, a lot on my back. A lot of it's put on there by myself because it's just one of those just stepping up and all right, if I don't do it, who else? Just a responsibility with a lot of attention and a lot of money. With everything positive, it comes with a lot of responsibility to manage the negative. So if you have a lot of positive things happening in your life, you have a responsibility to manage the negative so that way it doesn't take away from your positive. So I have a lot of good things that happen in my life. I'm blessed, but then I also have to keep my eye open for a lot of just BS and negativity. A lot of negativity that happens in your life isn't personal. It's what you allow and it's what you react to. Most of the time, it's just your reaction to what's happening to you. But it's something that if you don't consciously try to understand negativity, it'll keep on hitting you over and over and over and over again. This year, I'm focusing on just myself. I'm selfishly taking over 2023. Yes, I have I have a nonprofit, so I help with the community, I help with family, I help with businesses. There's a lot of things, everything's not about money. So there's a lot of things that I do on a day-to-day that I don't speak on to help others because that's just naturally who I am, but it's also just good energy. You have to intentionally put out good energy. You have to intentionally help for it to become not only just a habit, but for it to actually just be real and stick. You have to keep doing it. So I will always help others, but this year I'm intentionally being selfish with my time and my space. Last year, I tried to get close to family. I tried to get more close to family after make sure my mom was good, and not even just make sure my mom was good, but just getting out of my bubble. I tried to reconnect with family on my mom's side, because on my dad's side, it's I've always been close. I've been close with both sides, but on my dad's side, it's always love. It's always genuine. It's always like just very good energy. It's just uplifting, like godly energy. It's a very religious family, just godly energy and good spirits. It's friendly. I was trying to reconnect with my mom's side because there's just been a lot of trauma that's happened in my family from my mom's generation. So when she was a child, her household, there was just a lot of drama, a lot of pain, a lot of confusion. So that whole household dealt with a lot of trauma and it passed down to their offspring. Last year, I tried to make an effort to just reach out to family, to see how they were doing, to try to spend more time with the younger generation so that they will understand their family. One thing that happened with me growing up, and I just know it happens with a lot of families, where your family's so big that you don't know your whole family, and most of the time you just don't know about most of your family. I didn't really want that, and I don't want that for the younger generations. I want them to know who their family is, to have some idea who their family is, and just to spend time with their family. So that's what I tried to do last year. And everything went well, spend time with cousin family. And it all shifted when money got involved. This is why I'm very careful with just money and just who I keep around me. Once money got involved with what I thought was just natural, genuine family vibes, that's when true color started to appear. That's when I started to realize, yeah, money is the root of all evil, especially if you're not doing what somebody wants you to do for them. Manipulation and mental illness runs deep in my family. I've manipulated in my past relationships, not unknowingly, but as you get older and you just gain wisdom on life, you realize, damn, I was being manipulative in this situation, or I was taking advantage of that situation, or yeah, I could have done better. When money was involved, when spending time with quality family, I would freely and openly help and give, especially if I see somebody struggling. But after giving money, I started to realize that I was being taken advantage of. But when I'm being taken advantage of, I don't have to speak on what a person's doing to me. I don't have to confront that person on, yo, you're trying to take advantage of me. Oh, you're trying to size me. I don't have to do that. How I operate and how I move, if you do me wrong once, I'll notice it. You do me wrong once, I'll notice it. But then I'll also play devil's advocate with myself and also give the benefit of the doubt. Whereas if I don't have concrete evidence that you're doing me wrong, if it's not something that's black and white fact, and it's my opinion of I think you're trying me, I'll let it slide. I'll hold on to it. It's like, okay, I could be wrong. Benefit of the doubt. I can be wrong. I can be thinking this differently. But then when I started just sitting back and realizing, okay, you asked for money for this, I give it. You asked for money for that. Okay, I give it. You need help with this. All right, it's another thing. Okay, I give it. Then I started questioning myself and I started really questioning the situation, because I never give money away without really seeing where that money is going. I'll give it away, but I'm also paying attention to, okay, what's happening with that money, because I don't have a lot of money. And even if I had a lot of money, that's not something you just keep giving, because I'd rather teach you how to fish than to give you fish. So I'm seeing where money is going when I give it to family. Mind you, family that, like I said, I'm trying to get closer to family. So last year I give money towards the end of the year, realized this is not being spent on what you said. Bet. I distance myself from those type of situations. I distance myself from those type of people. I don't have to tell you why I distance myself from you. If you're taking advantage of me or trying to take advantage of me, if you're using family as a weakness, family as an excuse to do things, that's bad energy. That's bad karma. I don't want to be around it. I don't trust it. So when I did that, that's when a lot of backlash and true colors started to come out. In the beginning of last year, when my car, in the beginning of 2022, when my car caught on fire, I stayed at my cousin's. The car, and I mentioned this in previous episodes, but I stayed with my cousin for like a week and a half. Mind you, during this time in a week and a half, I was very appreciative of staying with that cousin because I wasn't expecting my car to catch on fire. I wasn't expecting to stay at my cousin's for a week and a half. I only intended to stay for 2 or 3 days. I don't like overstaying my welcome with anybody, family, friends, it doesn't matter. I was going to stay for like 2 or 3 days, spend some quality time, and then either spend time with my brother or go to an Airbnb. I don't like I said, I don't like overstaying my welcome. I don't like that feeling of, even if I'm not overstaying my welcome, I don't even like the feeling of, am I overstaying my welcome? I don't even, if I have to question myself on, if I've been here too long? Nah, okay, I'll leave. So when I'm there, I didn't have a lot of money, but I still had a work ethic and I still knew I needed to contribute towards a household that I'm staying in. So I would use my cousin's, the car to do Uber Eats because I didn't have my car, but I'd use the car to do Uber Eats so that not only I can put gas in the car and contribute so I can replace the food that I was eating in the house, and I also gave some money. Then after that happened, when I got my car back, I told my cousin, hey, you can have my speaker that's in my car. Speaker that I had for like a year. Gave that speaker away because it's just a token of my appreciation. It's like, this is the least I can do. You helped me when I needed you, and you helped, like I could stay here. I appreciate it. I make sure whenever somebody does anything for me or gives me anything, I try in my best to give not only that back, but more, because I never like the feeling of somebody having something over me, where I never like the feeling of somebody being able to say, oh, I did this for you, and I don't like that feeling. So if somebody does anything for me, I make sure I give it back, I match it, and I give more because I don't like that feeling. So I intentionally made sure I gave back when I needed to when I stayed there. Then time passes. I broke my ankle. I was supposed to, I wanted to, every time I was in Orlando, every other week last year, I wanted to spend time with family. So it was a goal to, all right, whenever I come back, I'll spend time with my cousins, the younger ones, the older ones. When I broke my ankle, I couldn't do that. So there was months that I couldn't do anything. Then when my ankle was healed in July, that's when I went back. And that's when I got the blessing of money and equity from my parents. That was the blessing happened last year in the summer. That's when it was the beginning of the end of a relationship with family. Before I had money and it appeared as if I were the vulnerable, I was the broke, or I was the one that needed help. Like I said, from perspective and appearance, I never needed. I chose to spend time with my cousin because I chose to spend time with family. When my car broke down, I was offered a place to stay until it was fixed. And when I stayed in that place, I contributed financially and emotionally while I was there. When I got money, then everybody's problems became mine. Nobody's asked me for more than $500 a day in my life. Nobody. Nobody's come to me for the most part, even ask me for anything. I came across money, and that's my fault. I spoke on it. That's one thing you should never do, is speak on money, especially a lump sum. But I'm innocently, naively thinking, it's not like I'm trying to shine on anybody. I'm not bragging. It was, oh man, look at God. Look at this blessing. I'm able to get on my feet. I'm able to get my own. Look at this. Family took that as an opportunity to take. That was an opportunity to help, but that was my opportunity to help, but it was family's opportunity to take. The same family that when I broke my ankle, I had my sister, I had an older mentor when I broke my ankle that reached out, and a couple of friends that reached out to say, hey, If you need anything financially, don't hesitate. Like, let me know. I got you. Sister, boom, here's money for this. I know this is this. Here's the money. Each month, I got some money to contribute while I had a broken ankle because she knew I couldn't do anything. Then I didn't even ask from her. The same family that I was staying with knew I broke my ankle, but there was no, and I'm the type of person where if I go through something, I'm not reaching out for help. It could be ego, it could be pride, it could be a good thing or a bad thing or indifferent. But I'm the type where it's like, I'll figure this shit out. I'm gonna get it on my own. I don't like begging. I don't like asking. That's something that I'm working on as far as like asking for help on certain situations. But when it comes to finances, like I said, I never like for someone to have a one up on me, especially when it comes to money, because you can hold that over somebody's head forever if you wanted to, because it's money and then you're owed if you make it known that I need this back. So I get money in the summer, and then that's when everything changed when it comes to spending genuine time with family, and you're thinking it's love. So this is me thinking everything is love. I help. As I'm helping, everything's smooth. It's all the ideas, all the things. Then when I realize the money I'm giving isn't going to what it's supposed to or what's said that it's supposed to, I fade away and say, okay, I take that as a loss. I take that as a lesson. Let me go focus on my own life. I help people, or I tried to help people get their own place. I tried to help people stay in their own place. I help people with their bills. Mind you, nobody gave me money for bills except for my sister. When I was down and out, I wasn't getting money for bills. I wasn't getting money for that. I don't expect it. I don't want it from people. But this is what I was doing off of the kindness of my heart, because it's like, all right, if a person's struggling and it's family and I'm seeing it, I'm going to help. When I pulled back from helping, that same family called me all kinds of names because he questioned what I'm posting on social media, thinking I'm talking about that person. That person won't be named because you don't get that credit. A lot of people latch on to you for what they think you can do for them and what you can give them. Those are two things and two big ways that people latch on to you. It's for what you can do for them and what you can give them. I repeat, a lot of people will be around you not for love, no matter what they say, but the true intention for a lot of people being around you is for what you can do for them or what you can give them. And when you can't do for them anymore and when you don't give them anything, they will show you their true colors. When you can't give somebody something, or when you can't give somebody something, when you choose not to give somebody something, that person is going to show you their true colors. They will either get it on their own, get it from somebody else and ignore you, or they'll beat you getting mad and act entitled as if you're supposed to give them something, as if they did something for you where you were supposed to give them something. Let's resort back to the beginning of the year last year. When I stayed with my cousin, I thought it was love, genuine love. That's what I thought. But then when I'm helping financially towards the end of the year, and then I stop helping financially and I give myself distance, that same cousin reaches out with a long ass text message. Meanwhile, I'm out of town. I'm on a business trip having a meeting for 2023. This was November 2022 when all this bullshit happened. I'm out of town. I post on social media not where I go. I never post like locations when I'm there at the moment that I'm there. But I post a plane on social media. Like me in the air on the airplane. I post it like the clouds. I get to my destination. I work out in the morning with my business partner. And then when I come home, when we come back from the gym, I look at my phone and it's this long ass text message. Mind you, I moved into my new condo maybe, this was like a week after, I moved into my condo a week before I go to this trip. This person's texting me about how much his family did for me in the beginning of the year and how they feel like I'm acting different and feeling like since I got my own place, mind you, I've only been in my new place for a week. Since I got my own place, that I am acting different. This was alarming to me because the long text message indicates that you thought about what you were texting for the most part. For you to send a long ass paragraph, that means you had to think this through. I questioned that. I checked what somebody was. I took that as someone trying to check me. How can you try to bring up what somebody did for you? Or how can you try to bring up what you did for somebody just because they're not doing for you? Even though I gave this person $5,000. $5,000. Help pay rent. Help pay light bill. Help pay for birthday party. Help pay for groceries. Help pay for extracurricular. And then the moment when I stopped because I realized all this money I was given was being wasted and wasn't being spent on what was supposed to be spent on, like I thought, I don't give a fuck if you're family or not. If I feel like you're playing me, if I feel like you're trying me, if I feel like you're taking advantage of me, I cut you off. It doesn't have to be physical, doesn't have to be violent, doesn't have to be spoken on. I just go distant, focus on my own life. I don't owe anybody a damn thing. I'll repeat that. I don't owe a fucking person a damn thing. So if you're around me because of what you can get from me or how I can help you get something, get the fuck from around me. If you're going to do something for me, and then when I don't do something for you the way you think I'm supposed to do it, get the fuck from around me. I'll never understand how a grown man can think he can control how another grown man reacts or thinks. I'll never understand how a grown man with a family can be so worried about what another man is doing. I'll never understand how a grown man who's struggling is worried about what somebody else is doing with their money. My money is not the world's money. What is mine is mine. I choose to donate when I want to. I choose to be charitable when I want to. Never let somebody dictate your charity. Never let somebody dictate how you give away money. So many people are stuck lonely deep down. So many people are lacking attention and want attention. I don't give a fuck about attention. All of what I'm doing is to show an example of what could be done. My name and all that, yeah. My name is on a lot of stuff, my personal name, my businesses. So yeah, it's attention. I like attention for business and I like attention to attract attention to what I'm doing. But as far as fame and attention, I've had attention my whole life. I was a mama's boy. I was a mama's boy. I was my dad's son. I had attention. I had a good foundation. A lot of people will reflect their lack of foundation or true foundation on you when you don't cater to their needs. People think I talk about them on social media. If the shoe fits and you decide to put the shoes on, then wear that shit. I don't have to name drop because it's not important to name drop. Put your own self out there. How can you can't throw rocks at somebody and then go run. You can't talk tough and then curl up. A lot of people take my silence and my kindness for weakness, which is cool. I allow that. Can't change a fool. But it's a different ball game. It's a completely different ball game when you threaten somebody. You know that whole saying of don't mess with the quiet ones? That's very true. When you poke a quiet person, when you poke that bear that's sleeping, don't be surprised when you get bit. And I'm not talking about physically. There's nothing that has to be physically done. There's no violence. That is the easiest, most coward reaction. You don't get what you want, so then you threaten somebody. Your whole manipulative game plan and scheme that was being built for a year didn't work. You thought you had a sucker. You thought you had somebody that you can just manipulate and talk tough to and be loud and be this big old gorilla. You thought you had somebody. I'm quiet, but I'm observant. I'm laid back, distant, but that's intentional. I don't use violence to attack. I don't use violence as a reaction. What I do is I cut you off, I let you be, and I let you hang yourself. I don't spread shit online to hurt people. When I speak online, I'm a grown-ass man who has every right to say and do whatever he wants, as long as it's not hurting somebody. Like I say, if anything that I say on social media or a podcast offends anybody, it's not my intention. So if you're offended by it, that's your problem. My intention in life is never negative or harm. It's never negative or harm. It's my intention. I may do things that may rub people the wrong way. I don't give a fuck because it's not intended or directed at you. Do I understand people's reactions if they get offended to certain stuff? Do I understand it? Yes, I understand it. I'm a very understanding person. But when it comes to threatening somebody because you're not getting what you want, because you're lacking the attention you want, because you're hurting, because you're at a loss right now, that is life. Everybody is struggling. Everybody has losses. Everybody is dealing with pain and trauma. But the moment you use your pain and trauma to try to get somebody else pain and trauma, when you're trying to transfer your pain and trauma to somebody else because of your insecurities, your jealousy, that's when there's a problem. It's illegal to threaten somebody and then put it on text message and then audio and then to tell that person to save it. That's very illegal. In Florida, there's a stand your ground law. In Florida, there's a stand your ground law. In Florida, there's a stand your ground law. So it's not the smartest thing in the world to do to threaten somebody with bodily harm and saying you're going to rob them, saying you're going to beat the shit out of them, saying you're going to slap them. Then on top of that, you try to poke the bear so much, the bear that helped save you, the bear that was taking care of your family when you couldn't, the bear that was taking care of that was spending time with your children when you couldn't, the bear that was spending time with your kids, giving them just a peace of mind for at least a day where they don't have to hear arguing, where they don't have to hear somebody spazzing. I was that light. But then you poked that bear because you couldn't get your way. You thought you had a sucker. I don't kill with violence. I get distant. I ignore. I block. Take that energy where you want to go. So many people want to latch on to you. They think that family means you're just supposed to do everything with them. You get first dibs. I have a lot of family, but I don't relate to a lot of people. I'm relatable, but that doesn't mean that we're the same. I'm quiet, but I'm not alone. For family to to speak harm on another family member, that's a problem. How is it that a person can call my mom retarded, go take care of your retarded ass mom in her home? Names won't be announced. It's irrelevant. Names don't matter. These are just topics and things that have happened. For somebody to say, take care of your retarded ass mom, mind you, my mom didn't say happy birthday to me for my 30th birthday, but I made sure that my mom said happy birthday to this said individual. This said individual got a happy birthday message from my mom, and my mom hasn't said happy birthday to me in damn near 2 or 3 years. But when that person doesn't get what they want, when the gorilla, the big bear, the big tough guy, the big thug, when the big thug doesn't get what they want, they resort to speaking out of turn. It's an emotion. It's a lack of emotional intelligence. It's a lack of control. For that person who was being helped out of the kindness of my heart, for that person to say, take care of your retarded ass mom, for that person to say, when I see you, I'm going to slap the shit out of you. I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to rob you. All because I caught on to the bullshit. When you catch on to bullshit, people will show their true colors. They'll beat you getting mad because they don't want to take responsibility for their actions. They'll have every excuse and point the finger at every other person but themselves. They'll want sympathy like they're the only person in the world dealing with what they're dealing with. Their trauma is more important than your trauma. Their pain is more important than your pain. Your pain isn't relevant when it's their pain, the only thing they focus on. We are all struggling. We are all in pain. Why is it that people feel that you're supposed to do for them? I don't have to do a fucking thing for anybody but myself. Only responsibility I have is myself and making sure my mom is good. And the problem is, I try to, like I say, I like to teach people how to fish than to give fish. I give fish when I have to, when it's a necessity. Okay, you're starving, you're about to die. Here's fish. But I'm not going to keep giving fish. I'm nobody's fucking dad. I'm single without children. I am happy. Why would I want to be a bank account to someone with no drive and no effort, but all mouth? There's a lot of jealousy out here. A lot of jealousy and insecurity. I'm an advocate of writing down your emotions. I'm an advocate of turning your pain into profit. I'm an advocate of creating your reality. I'm an advocate for all of this stuff. I'm an advocate for, hey, don't do what I'm doing. Mimic what I'm doing with your own life. If I'm giving you the tools and the keys to how I got to where I'm going and you're not using any of that advice, but you're just still with the handout and a puppy dog eyes, I don't respect that as a man. Now, once did any of my advice be taken serious enough for it to turn into action? People will be around you for what you can do for them or what you can give them. I was spending time, I was giving money, and I was giving free advice that helped me get to where I'm getting, that helped me get to where I'm at, that put food in my pocket when I had $0, that helped me take care of me and my mom when I had nothing. I gave the advice and the blueprint of exactly what I did and the work ethic. How can you not outwork me but want something from me? If you're not outworking me, you're not getting anything from me. If you're not matching my workload, why am I going to give you something? I don't have kids. I wouldn't even have my kids doing anything. I wouldn't even be giving my kids stuff without them putting in the work. You got to put in some type of work. I made this podcast specifically for this person that knows who they are, who's probably going to be looking at it because this person is blocked. But this person is also looking through other accounts, and this person is also paying attention to everything I'm doing. Every single detail of what I'm doing, this person is doing. This person hasn't shared my books. This person hasn't gotten me any money. This person has used the veil of family to manipulate and to try to use. I'm making this specifically since it's been talks about, oh, you're talking about me on social media. Feel like you're talking about me. Okay, I am. Your name's still not known. This is something that I don't care to do too often, but when certain things happen, I speak on it. I address it. I address it and speak on it how I want to speak on it. No other person, no other man, no other woman, no other person can dictate how and when I react, how I should react, what I should do. Nobody controls that but me. This is something that happened a month ago. And then it prolonged for other like 2 or 3 weeks of just BS where it's like, all right, I'm just going to hold on to that. But I will speak under my terms. And this is something that I put out as well because I know I'm not the only person that deals with this type of stuff. I know I'm not. So I just shed light on what I go through, and I know other people go through similar things, and I just put it out there. But it's just one of those things of, don't think violence scares someone who doesn't fear anything but God. Don't expect violence and threats to be taken lightly. Doesn't matter what your mind state was at that time when you attack with violence and threatening words and threatening energy and just negative buffoonery. It's a different playing field. When I cut you off, that's the worst thing that can happen to you from me. I don't give a fuck about whatever happens in your life and with other people, whatever they do to you and whatever happens to you. That's not me. That's not my problem. But the way I attack is blocking you, still speaking how I want to freely, but you can't be around me. You can't communicate with me. You can talk about me. You can talk to others about me. But the biggest prize is me. My name is in your mouth. My name is in your mouth. Your name is not being spoken on. I worked my whole life. Nobody told me what to do as far as getting to where I'm at. Nobody told me do this, do this, do that. It's led by God and my own will and purpose. Do the same for yourself. If you're this intelligent, smart person who's done everything and everybody's to blame and you point the finger at every single person, if that's the case, be a man. Get your shit done. If you're this tough person and you're this genius and you're this one idea type of person where I have all the best ideas and I'm the best and everything I'm doing is the best and then this. If that's okay. Everybody's supposed to have a confident man, a confident person is supposed to feel that way. That's a competitive nature. They're supposed to have that feeling. Prove it. Not to me. Prove it to yourself. Prove it to your family. Prove it to your kids that you're the man you say you are. Prove it to your family. Prove it to your loved ones. Prove it to your mom. Prove it to your dad that you are who you say you are. You're this special person. That's great. Prove it. It's undeniable what I'm doing. It may not have the most views, may not have the most money. I may not be the biggest. I may not be the strongest. I may not have all the women. That's fine. But it's undeniable what I'm doing. My track record speaks for itself. How the fuck can you talk about what I'm doing or what you're doing and you're not doing shit? We're not in the same category. When I was struggling, I was in a mental hospital still doing Family Dreams Fitness. The day after Uncle passed away, I was still doing Family Dreams Fitness. I still had to go to work the next day. I'm still creating. I had to take my mom to all her appointments. Had to be there for my mom. Still working on all my business. No excuse. I'm not an excuse person. There's reasons for things to not happen when you think it's going to happen. But as far as a task or a job ultimately getting done, there's no excuses. Even if the job being done isn't perfect, there's still no excuse for some type of effort to get something done. There's a lot of trauma and mental health issues within my family, myself included. I'm coping and healing with a lot of trauma that I've dealt with in the past, a lot of silent trauma. So it's like the world wouldn't know, but it's just a lot of just trauma and mental illness where it's like you're dealing with a lot of stuff in your head that you don't know how to explain, you can't explain it. But then you go to therapy and you just learn and you get your wisdom and you gain it. If somebody thinks they're too big for therapy, there's a problem. If somebody doesn't think they're the problem, but everybody else is the problem, there's a problem. This is a message to focus on your mental health. This is a message to everyone. Focus on your mental health. Focus on your own life. When you get money, protect it. Don't speak on all of your money. Don't speak on money. It's business, so you have to speak on money, investments, inspiration, just real life. But be careful who you allow in your circle. Be careful who you allow around you. Because even if you help that person, even if everything seems like it's good-hearted and out of love, when people show you their true colors, just believe them. Just believe them, because it doesn't make sense of wasting your life and their life. Just because you're family doesn't mean you have to be around each other. Just because you relate doesn't mean that you have to be around each other. Be your own person, live your life, take care of your mental health, take care of your family, and let God handle the rest.